I just want to welcome everyone for joining us today. We're super excited to be talking about college for all and Thomas Edison and how people can use a flexible pathway to get their college credits. We're so excited to be talking about that today. I just want to go ahead and just introduce our speakers for today. So first we're going to have is Andrew Schrader. He is our academic director at College for All. And then as well, we have Tom Phillips, who is the Associate Director of Strategic Partnerships at Thomas Edison State University. Also as well, just before we officially kind of jumpstart here, we're going to be having a Q&A towards the end of the event. So anyone, if you kind of think of anything while people are talking, to remember to write that down or to remember that later on as we have our Q&A session. So with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Andrew.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Emily, and thank you all for being here. Really excited to be talking to you all. First, I'd just like to start off by talking a little bit about our mission here at College for All and a little bit of the history around us getting started. So we firmly believe that everyone should have access to a college education, and that anyone that is willing to put the work in and has the desire should be able to complete that, and they don't have to go broke to do it, right? So back in 2018, College for All was founded in Southern California. And we created this very innovative pathway by which students could essentially earn college credit through examination and then transfer it in a very streamlined way so that they don't have to worry about any of the typical stresses that come with transferring credit and earning a college degree. So I think one of the most important things to talk about, especially these days with the pandemic and things like that, is flexibility. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about how the College for All program actually works, and then also how the College for All program can help you to achieve your educational goals while still living life. Because it's just a fact that not all people have the ability to put their entire life on hold while they're in college, and that's not something that you have to do. So the first thing I'd like to share about are Clep and DSST exams. So students at College for All are able to earn college credit by taking Clep and DSST exams. They're standardized exams, and they're created by the College Board. You may have heard of them, and they're accredited through the ACE, American Council of Education. And when students come through the College for All program, they are given all of the resources and guidance and study materials that they need to be able to pass these exams, which in turn grant college credit. So as you know, a typical degree has 120 credits in it. You may have heard that before. Well, most universities will accept between 30 and 60 credits in transfer credit. And the good news is that most universities, over 2,000 in fact, will also accept Clep and DSST credit. But we decided to partner with Thomas Edison State University, which is actually where I'm a graduate from myself, and we're also on this call with two other graduates from Thomas Edison State University. They're amazing, and they have been pioneers in adult degree completion and distance education since they were founded back in the 1970s. So they really lead the way with flexibility and transferring in and really making the experience just the best for students. And the really exciting thing is that they actually will take well over 90 credits in transfer credit to the program, which is why we decided to start this partnership, this exclusive partnership, because it allows for students to really maximize the amount of credit they're able to transfer through taking Cleps and DSST exams. So you may not know much about Clep and DSST, so I'll give a little bit of a more detailed overview, both about the tests themselves and also about how we prepare students for them. So the College Board of America, the same people that make the ACT and ACT tests, SAT and ACT, yes, they are the ones that make the Clep and DSST, or especially the Clep tests. So the way they work is they are standardized exams that cover the material that you would be learning in a traditional college class. And then when you have finished, studying for this test, you will go into a testing center. And upon entering the testing center, you will have an hour and a half to complete the exam. And upon completion, if you pull off a passing score, which is a 50 or above, then you immediately earn college credit. So where College for All comes in is really two main ways. One, we prepare students to pass these exams, and we have over a 96% pass rate, which is really, really something that we're proud of. And then after that, we also instruct students on which exact exams they need in order to complete their degree by transferring those credits into Thomas Edison State University. So just having that mixture of preparation and guidance as to which ones to take is really where College for All comes in and helps the student to make their college dreams come true without all the typical red tape and financial burden that it can often have. So with that, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how College for All prepares students for these exams. So these are standardized tests. There are usually around 90 questions. It does vary on various tests, but that's usually around how many questions there are. And what we do to prepare students for all of these questions is we have 4 weeks worth of preparation, and each week focuses on a different learning style and a different form of information. So typically within the first week, a student will log into their student portal, which they receive upon becoming a student, and they will be instructed on everything that they're going to need to do over the next 4 weeks. And typically the first week is going to be PowerPoint materials where they're going to read through everything and take notes on what they're reading, just a little intro into the subject matter. And then after the first week, they're going to be receiving a textbook. And when you receive a textbook, you're also going to receive the exact timeline by which you can aim to read the various chapters. And that's going to be a really great way to, to make sure that you're staying on track and making great progress through the course. After the second week, students will move on to a third week of flashcards and practice tests. And within this period, they really begin to kind of focus their attention more on what the actual final exam is going to be like by practicing all the skills that they have learned, the knowledge they've learned through the first 2 weeks. And the final week is a combination of online video content and online quizzes. And there's usually a full-length practice test at the end of that as well. And through the combination of all these different mediums of gaining information, students do have a 96% pass rate, as I mentioned earlier in the program. And that's really, I think, special when you compare that to the around 40 to 50% pass rate, which is the national average for Clep and Dsst tests without College for All guidance. So once students have compiled enough credits, usually around 20 to 30 credits, about 1 year's worth of credits, we encourage them to enroll with Thomas Edison State University. At that point, they get all those transfer credits locked in to their degree program. And then through the next 2 or 3 years of their time with College for All, they will continue to take DSST and Clep tests and transfer those in every year to Thomas Edison. They'll be able to lock in those credits every year. And later on, I'll have Tom talk a little bit more about that process and how students can keep their accounts active throughout their time in both programs. But it is just really important to note that I think what really sets College for All apart is the streamlined partnership with Thomas Edison State University. Because if you have all of these credits, maybe you don't know what to do with them. Maybe you have more than you even can transfer to most schools, and that doesn't really benefit you. So really where they come in handy is when you have a clear pathway to being able to utilize all of those credits and actually turn them into a degree with the help of Thomas Edison State University once you're through the program. I think this would probably be a decent time to hand it over briefly to Tom, and maybe you could talk a little bit more about that process of transfer credit and at which stage is most ideal for students to transfer in at.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Phillips. I'm the Associate Director of Strategic Partnerships at Thomas Edison State University. And Emily and Andrew and I have been working together for a few years now, and it's been just a wonderful partnership, and we're incredibly proud to be part of it. Thomas Edison State University, Andrew said, was founded in 1972, and we've always been in the business for the adult learner to provide flexible learning opportunities for learners in a variety of ways. And few people do it better, if anybody, than College for All does. They really find a way to be able to package alternative credit into a very affordable and I want to call thought-free, not that you have to put any thought into it, but they really do all the work for you. They map it out beautifully so that your main focus needs to be on your education and not the logistics. And I can't stress that enough about the work that they've put into this particular program to just allow you to focus on your academics. And they've handled the logistics, and they've worked very diligently with us and very closely with us to ensure that your transition from College for All to Thomas Edison will be seamless. So I give them a lot of credit for the amount of work and effort that they've put in and the thoughtfulness that they've put into it to be able to help their students, because they do fully understand the mission of Thomas Edison and how we work. We are one of 11 state universities in the state of New Jersey, for those of you who have not heard of us. People generally don't know who we are because we are strictly online, and we don't have a sports team or a mascot as a result. So a lot of people know the other 10 universities, colleges and universities in the state of New Jersey, but they're not familiar with us. So that gives you a little bit of background about Thomas Edison State University. So let's talk a little bit about bringing in the credit, as Andrew mentioned. What we've worked out with College for All, because of Thomas Edison's policies, is for after probably about 30 credits or so for you to be able to come in and apply to Thomas Edison State University at that time and bring those credits with you. What that does is it puts you in a particular catalog year, and providing that you take 3 credits during a consecutive 36-month period following your most recent course that you've taken with the university, you can remain in that catalog year. So what does that mean? That means that the university changes any academic requirements during that time, but by keeping your account active, you will continue to be in the catalog year in which you came in. So the changes won't necessarily apply to you. And well, actually, they won't apply to you. So what'll happen is during that time as well, that you're taking courses with College for All, you're working the program and taking your Clep and Dsst exams. You could also be working closely with the Thomas Edison State University academic advisor, just to continue to ensure and make sure that you continue to be on track with the credits that you're transferring in to Thomas Edison, knowing that in a 36-month period from the most recent course that you've taken, you'll just need to take another Thomas Edison course as part of your degree plan. So it is a really simple and seamless process. Again, those logistics are taken care of by College for All. They're taken care of by Thomas Edison State University through your academic advisors that you will have direct access to at any point in time. So that seamless transition that College for All has ensured that they've set up for you is going to be a really critical element for you, again, to maintain that sole focus on your academic goals, and we will help get you there. So Andrew, I'll pass that back over to you with that said.
Oh, thank you very, very much. That was great. And yeah, I think, if some of you listening are familiar with different alternative, pathways to get college degrees, you may have heard of other programs out there. I'm not going to list any names, but that is really where they all fall short. It is that they may help students to earn college credit, which is amazing. But when it comes to actually turning that credit into a degree and actually making that transfer process smooth and seamless, that's where it all falls apart. And so as a graduate myself of Thomas Edison, who also utilized Clep and Dsst exams, it was just so important as we were creating this program to make it as simple and as easy as possible. And so that is really probably the main thing that I would want people to take home today, is that not only is there an option for truly affordable and truly flexible college, but also it can be very convenient too. So another point that I think is very important when talking about online education, because most people know that it's convenient, it's a little bit more affordable, those are pretty standard, but one of the things that often is listed as a downside to distance education is the lack of community, the lack of ability to make new friends, to meet new people, to interact with your classmates. And so I actually wanted to talk about one really interesting and a development that I'm super excited personally with College for All, and that is the launching of Encompass Island, which is a virtual reality app that students will have full access to. And what it allows for students to do is basically have the same level of community and connectivity in a VR environment as they would on a real campus. And this originally was something we were thinking about back in mid 2019, before COVID was even on the radar for anyone. But now, as we've seen over the past year, more and more schools are moving online, and in-person interactions becoming, not as frequent or as doable, especially on college campuses. More than ever, this option, I think, is just perfectly timed. And while there is never a substitute for in-person communication, the fact that you can meet new friends and build relationships and have new experiences within a VR environment that one day can transfer to the real world is something really important, I think, in the future of online education, and one thing that we're really excited about. So a little bit more about this, the VR world, Encompass Island. So not only will it be a great opportunity for community building, making new friends with fellow students, but also there is an educational aspect to it as well. Now, as you remember, maybe in high school or even earlier, there were some subjects that you liked and enjoyed, and others maybe you didn't so much. And I think a lot of people, especially when it comes to subjects like maybe history, it feels a little bit disconnected. It feels a little bit, not applicable to reality and very distant. And for that reason, history is one of the main focuses of the initial launch of Encompass Island, where we are bringing educational experiences through VR that really immerse you into the information that you are studying while you're in the program, and can benefit people that maybe aren't even in that particular course. So just as an example, one of the most common and popular Clep exams is called U.S. History 1. And when students take and complete this course, they earn 3 college credits. And in U.S. History 1, you learn about many different subjects, one of which is the Boston Tea Party. So many people might have an idea about what that is. Maybe they've heard about it before and can maybe visualize it. But imagine what it would be like if you could actually take part in it, and if you could actually hear from people around you on the docks, on the ships, exactly what's going on, why it's going on, and see the emotion in people's eyes, and actually maybe engage in throwing a little tea overboard yourself. When you walk away from that experience, you are going to feel like, wow, I actually know why this happened, not just the fact on paper, which I think is a really big, a big thing that education needs to address, because we've moved into a point in many ways where it has become just about reading and memorizing and moving on, and then forgetting it as the years go by. But where VR really comes in is that by immersing yourself into the information, regardless of the subject area, you're actually able to walk away feeling connected to that information, and it feels much more real and much more valuable than simply if you were to read it in a book. So that's also something we're really excited about. And College for All students in particular will have access to all of the educational content within Encompass Island completely for free. The app will be available to everybody, but there will be a bunch of added special benefits specifically for College for All students. So while the educational experiences in the VR app will not be worth credit, they are not for credit, they are amazing ways to enhance your experience in the courses that you are taking outside of the VR app at College for All, and can even be a great way for you to be excited about subjects that maybe you weren't excited about before. So I think that's a really, really cool point to touch on as well. So yes. I think now that we have talked about, quite a few different subjects, I'm going to move on a little bit more to some details about taking Clep and DSST tests. But in the meantime, if anyone does have any questions, this would probably be a great time to ask those questions. So feel free to do that now. In the meantime, though, I'll just be talking a little bit about the specifics of how credit is actually earned and how it is transferred to. So one of the main questions people ask has to do with, how do I know if I passed? What is a passing score? What is a passing grade? And things of that nature. So I want to address that now because it's a little bit complicated, but also, it's not at the same time. So basically, you need to score a 50 or higher to pass. But what does that mean? Does that mean 50%? No, actually not. So the College Board uses a proprietary algorithm to calculate a score on a scale from I believe it starts at 20 and goes only up to 80. So that's very different than what we're used to, right? With a 0 to 100 scale. And so a 50 doesn't actually equal a 50%, but it does usually equate to getting about 65% of the questions correct. But the interesting thing is that different questions are weighted with different varying levels of difficulty. So what we encourage students to do is to take good notice of all of their practice exams up to that point. And if they can pass their final practice exam with a 65% or higher, that leads to a 96% chance of them passing the final exam. So when you're visualizing, how many questions do I need to get right to pull off a passing score to earn the credit, you can essentially think of it as being around 65% of the questions correct, but also keeping in mind that different questions are weighted with different difficulties. One other little point that is kind of important too, I believe, would just be to address the fact that unlike other tests, unanswered questions do count against you. So you're always going to want to make sure that you are completing every single question, even if you see yourself burning out of time at the end of the test. And just by simply making sure that every question is answered, that can really boost your chances of passing. And the reason I'm talking about all this is I know that a lot of people come from a background of maybe not loving the idea of taking tests. Maybe they didn't like tests when they were in high school, and maybe the concept of getting, nearly your entire degree, or at least, 90 credits or, 75% or 80% of your degree through testing does not sound like the most fun thing in the world. But the truth is, this is something that we've been working with for many years, even before College for All was founded back in 2018. Before that, we had nearly 20 years of experience working with standardized testing. And the thing is that when you do follow the outline that we provide you, and you do follow all the steps that are recommended to pass that exam, we have actually yet to have a single student fail a test and claim that they weren't prepared for it. Every time, on the very few occasions when a student has not passed a test, they've always come back and said, yes, well, unfortunately, I was busy. I didn't have time to go through with everything. And I took the test before I was ready. But I know that if I would have, followed through with everything, it would have gone better. Every time they do that, they retake the test. They follow the format, and they get a pass. So that is definitely one fear that people can really get out of their mind. You know, if you don't like tests or you're afraid of tests, that doesn't really have to even be an issue. And that's why we are so excited to share this program with you, because it does eliminate all of the worry that might surround taking exams, which is a very, very real fear for some people. So let's see, just got a question in. Okay, I got a question that says, will this be recorded as I missed the first 10 minutes? Thank you so much for your question. Yes, it is actually being recorded, and we will have this posted on a few different places, including our website most likely, and definitely on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to rewatch it then. Thank you very much. Okay, this is a wonderful question. It says, what ACT or SAT scores are needed to be accepted into College for All? Okay, wonderful. So actually, there's none. You don't need to have an SAT or an ACT score in order to join the program. And this is actually kind of along those same lines. This is very, very important. You technically do not need a high school diploma to start the College for All program. However, you are not able to transfer into Thomas Edison and work on actually getting your degree completed until you have finished high school. So while the SAT and ACT are not required, and technically high school transcripts or a GED are not required either to begin taking Clep tests, that is something that you are going to need to be working on, because you're not going to be able to actually transfer in those credits until that's been completed. So we do have some students that have started the program at 14, 15, 16, and are doing this kind of dual enrollment, which is a wonderful option. But it is also good to keep in mind that while SAT and ACT scores may not be required, you are going to need to eventually, even if it's a GED, get that taken care of before completing your degree. So thank you for that question. Oh, wow. Okay, this is another wonderful question. Are there scholarships or financial aid options available? So I will talk about this question from the College for All perspective, and then maybe Tom can answer the question from a Thomas Edison perspective for students once they have transferred in. So while at College for All, or when you're considering signing up, there actually is a process by which you can qualify for a scholarship rate. So the scholarship rate is $250 per month, opposed to the normal $399 per month. And there is a form that you can complete for that. And also you can reach out to the College for All admissions team and let them know that you're interested in pursuing that scholarship rate. And we try our best to get every student into that scholarship rate. So there's a very high chance that if you do reach out for that, you will qualify for that scholarship rate. And that also brings me to another subject, which is the structure. So the payment structure is by month. So students that are on the scholarship rate will be paying $250 per month to be in the program. And we recommend students to complete one test per month. So if you are completing one Clep or DSST per month, you are essentially earning 3 to 6 credits, depending on the exam, for $250. So if you do the math and you look into see, how much per credit that is, 250 divided by 3 or 250 divided by 6, you will see that it's nearly impossible to beat that rate for college credit. So that is how we handle scholarships. And then maybe Tom, would you share a little bit about how Thomas Edison handles financial aid and scholarships for students?
Sure, absolutely. When you apply to Thomas Edison State University, one of the first things that you'll have to do is complete a FAFSA form. Excuse me, a FAFSA form. It is the federal financial aid form that all students would need to complete to determine whether or not you qualify for financial aid. Or we also have scholarships available to Thomas Edison students too. The financial aid piece would only be able to be used for your tuition to Thomas Edison. So for the portion that you're coming to Thomas Edison for, you'd be able to use it toward that tuition. At TESU, you would not be able to take the money that you get through the scholarship, through the financial aid, that you're getting through Thomas Edison and roll that back in to pay for College for All. Those would be two separate pricing structures based on the federal rules and guidelines. I will tell you that if you go to our website and you were to look at the financial aid information, you'll see that there, but you'll also see the pricing for the Thomas Edison by per credit pricing for a Thomas Edison student. Please don't be alarmed at the $519 per credit for out-of-state students. That is not applicable to this group of students based on our partnership. College for All has our corporate partner rate. So that corporate partner rate, whatever it is at any point in time, will be less than that out of state. Right now, our corporate partner rate is at $379 per credit, for even if you're out of state. So if you're an out of state of New Jersey student coming to us, that is a $420 savings per course. So that's a pretty good savings. So if we're looking at the total financial picture based on the partnership that College for All has created with Thomas Edison State University, that savings is in play. And we always want to make sure that our corporate partner rates do have some built-in tuition reduction. And we just established this rate last year, so I don't envision it's going to change much of it all. So we haven't even had it a full year yet. So I think we're pretty safe there. But I wanted to mention that since Andrew brought up pricing structure. With your application to come to Thomas Edison State University, is that you get an initial academic evaluation done, and that is readily updated. So as we receive your American Council on Education or ACE transcripts that have transcripted your successes with the Clep or DSST exams, that will be a readily available document for you to be able to see in real time any point in time you log into your student account. Another benefit that you guys are going to also have too is that we have a web page, a landing page that's dedicated strictly for College for All students. So anything that you would need relative to the partnership, Thomas Edison in general, how you're going to be able to, it's a reference tool that you can have access to at any point in time with all the necessary information. If we're doing something like this, we can certainly put a video out there for you. So that would be another way that the College for All students would have their own experience through this web page, connecting College for All to the university itself. And I'm happy to entertain any other things that I might have forgotten that you guys thought about. So Emily, if you have something.
Yeah, I think maybe what we're referring to, and you might have added that into the per credit price, was I think a little bit of a discount per course that students take. So I don't know if that's added into kind of the per credit rate that you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, the per credit rate is like I said, is $519 per credit for an out-of-state student. So a general out-of-state student, somebody that might live in, Arkansas or Indiana, those are really cool states, right, guys? Yeah. The general student coming to Thomas Edison would have to pay that $519 out of pocket per credit. So you're looking at, oh gosh, math on a Friday. You're looking at about $1,557 for the course. The great thing about the partnership is that gets reduced to the corporate partner rate, which at this point in time is $379. And that's what I was mentioning before. It's $1,127 per course. You're going to save $420 per course by being part of the partnership. And you multiply that over the few courses that you're going to have to take at Thomas Edison. It's a huge, huge, huge savings that the student coming to us from out of state the average student would not receive.
Wow, thank you very much. Yeah, that's really amazing. And thank you for explaining that. I think there was one other question that came through that might actually be perfect for you as well, Tom. It says, how does Thomas Edison University help graduating and current students with job placement and readiness?
Well, I think that both Thomas Edison and College for All are helping you with readiness. I think, when we look at a degree program in its totality, one of the things that we look for, that we want to make sure that all of our graduates are ready. Keep in mind that the vast majority of our students have been employed at some point in time. The average age of our student is about 35, 36 years old. But the job readiness really comes into play, and we want to make sure that our students have a full academic understanding. And a lot of that is assessed in our courses and the way that our courses are structured, in the independence in which our students need to exercise to complete those courses. So let me give you an example. Thomas Edison State University's courses at the undergraduate level start at the beginning of every single month. So we don't have a traditional fall semester or spring semester. Our courses start at the beginning of every month and they run for a 12-week period. So you can stagger the courses as you would like. You can finish a course and start another one. However it is that you want to do it, you can do it that way. The flexibility really comes into play here in that at the beginning of each course, and I know that both Andrew and Emily can attest to this, at the beginning of each course, Thomas Edison has crafted the entire course for you. Again, making it easy and seamless, similar to what College for All is doing in setting the stage for you to be successful and taking care of the logistical aspect. We provide you the syllabus at the beginning of the term. We provide you what the assignments are going to look like on a weekly basis and when things are due. And then your independence, working in conjunction, possibly if you need to reach out to your instructor for the course, you can certainly do that through email, possibly setting up time for a phone conversation, and in really working through that. But the assignments are given to you up front, and then you are given the opportunity then to go ahead, do your research, manage your own time, and just make sure that your assignments are submitted by the dates that are designated. So you don't need to be in a real live classroom at any point in time. So that level of independence that you're going to exercise and your ability to be able to go out and do some comprehensive research and studying to be able to successfully complete the course is really going to be a well-demonstrated concept to the Thomas Edison degree. Last, I will mention that your final course at Thomas Edison will be a capstone, which is essentially a 3-credit thesis. It runs the same 12 weeks as any course, but that is really designed for you to be able to take all of your knowledge, everything that you've learned through your preparation at College for All, everything that you've learned at Thomas Edison, and it shows us and our regionally accredited body. We are regionally accredited through the Middle States Council on Higher Education. That capstone really is a demonstrating factor to our regional accreditors that our students are thoroughly prepared from an academic perspective to earn their bachelor's degree. Now, that's one piece of your question, and it's a very long-winded way, so I apologize for it. But I really wanted to give you the full scope and the full picture of it. The other piece of that is placement beyond that. We have over 60,000 alumni. As everybody has mentioned, 3 of them are on this panel, proudly. And so what we do is we do a lot of outreach with our alumni base. But our Office of Alumni Affairs also houses any opportunities that may come in through corporations, any businesses. Could be regional, it could be local, it could be regional, it could be even throughout the country if we have various partnerships with folks that want to post jobs and work with folks there. And we are just now getting into a lot of the coaching aspect too, with looking for jobs and things like that in our Office of Alumni Affairs. So your question's quite timely and I'm grateful for it. I hope that helped.
Very much. Yes. Thank you for that. And that is really exciting. You know, I think even for me personally, I benefited a lot from the flexibility and the course structure. I remember I was completing some of my last courses actually in Prague in the Czech Republic. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, wow, it's so nice that I can be here doing what I need to do and also be completing, you know, my last few courses at Thomas Edison. And it was just so simple. And I think that is definitely one of the best ways for people to be successful in the job market, is to not have to place their life on hold for multiple years of their life, which, you know, these days especially just, you know, isn't practical anymore. And so I love that. And thank you so much for sharing, and also about the different alumni services too, and what you're working on now is definitely very exciting. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, wonderful question. Just came in. Are the classes videos or all reading material? So the classes are going to be a mixture of both. So they are about 50-50, maybe 60% reading, which is a combination of online reading and textbook reading, combined with online videos and lecture content as well. And textbooks are completely free. We mail textbooks out to students at the start of each course. And then when they're done with that, they mail the book back, and it's completely free. So that's a really awesome feature as well, is being able to get that combination of physical textbook in your hand, online digital content you can read on the go, and also having video lectures as well. So thank you for your question. We'll wait a few more minutes here to see if there are any other questions that come in.
Andrew, do you or Tom want to talk about a little bit also as well, maybe some website that people can go to if they want to, obviously research College for All and then Thomas Edison? It would be helpful.
Definitely, yes. So I'll start off, I guess. So if you are interested in visiting the College for All website, I'll tell you what that is. So it'll be collegeforallusa.com, and the 4 is going to be just FOR. So not the number, not the spelled out number, just FOR. So collegeforallusa.com. And on our website, you can find tons of great content about how the program works. Because even if you have been around for the entire time today, I'm sure you still have a few detailed questions you might want answered, and all of that is on the website. So you can look at our academic pages, the About Us pages, and read all about the academic structure, the payment structure, how the program works, and the different things you receive as a student. So that's all going to be on collegeforallusa.com. So, yes.
Mine is extremely easy because I have a show and tell. It's, I'll see, shoot. Okay, it is www.tesu, just like what's on my shirt, .edu. The first 3 letters of education. So it's www.tesu.edu.
I'll go ahead and put that in the chat too if people want to look at those websites.
We just got another really great question in, and it asks, remember here, it says, is there a minimum or maximum courses that a student can take per year? So the answer is no. There is no minimum or maximum amount of courses within the College for All program that students can take per year. We strongly recommend students to take one course per month. The reason for that is that when you take longer than a month, some students find it hard to stay motivated and to stay interested, for a single subject matter. And then towards the end of the 2nd or 3rd month, maybe some of the earliest information might become a little bit fuzzy. And so for that reason, we really recommend people to take 1 month. However, some students do take longer. Some will take a month and a half if they want to, and some will take shorter. Some students will say, I feel very confident to complete and pass this test after only 2 weeks. So if you're wondering how that works with the monthly payment structure, it doesn't really change anything. Even if you're doing two classes per month, you will still be on the exact same rate. So that is one way that you can even get more out of what you're putting in. But we really recommend for at least the first 2 or 3 courses for students to take that full month and try to complete it within that month, just so they can see, how their learning style is, how they're doing, if they're getting exceptionally high scores or just pulling off a pass narrowly. And then from there, especially if you work with your advisor, you'll be able to come up with a plan that's ideal for you, whether that is shorter or longer than the 1 month. But no, there's no requirement. And students also do have the ability to place their account on pause while they're in College for All, in case maybe they have to be away for a month to a location without internet, or maybe there's a family issue that comes up, or whatever it may be. Students also can put that pause on the account, and it's not going to affect enrollment or tuition or anything like that. So thank you very much for that wonderful question. Okay, this is really good too. It says, on average, how many hours of studying per day would one course take? Okay, so on average, it takes students about 2.5 hours per day to study in order for them to be prepared at the end of 4 weeks to complete the exam. Now, the way it's set up is for students to study for 5 days a week. So students can expect that by studying 5 days per week at 2.5 hours a day for 4 weeks, they will be completely prepared to pass the exam. Now, even though it's laid out like that, and that is the structure, there's absolutely no reason why an issue would arise if, let's say, one day is extremely busy for you, maybe you can't get that study in, but you know maybe the next day or the weekend you have extra time and you can do multiple days of work on that one day. So even though there's a very clear structure that we encourage people to follow, there are no grades within the portal itself. The only grade that matters is from that final test. So you can expect to spend about 2.5 hours a day, but also know that if for some reason you can't that day, it is very easy to make that up the next day or over the weekend or something like that, whatever works best for your schedule. So thank you for that question.
Andrew, there was a question a little bit earlier about dual enrollment.
Oh, yeah.
And about how homeschoolers can benefit from the program. So I wanted to know if you wanted to talk.
Yes, definitely. So this is a great program for people that are still in high school, because you are, of course, able to earn credit while you're still in high school. You don't actually need your diploma completed to start the program. So that's one reason why it's awesome. This does depend on what state you're in. So individual people will have to kind of explore how the dual enrollment is going to work for them particularly. But if you are a homeschooled student, especially, there are ways to essentially make Clep and Dsst credit count for high school courses, and then you can put those in your transcript as you are completing the high school transcript. So that will be something that, you know, every parent, if they are creating transcripts, will need to look into to make sure they are getting those credits placed in the correct categories. But dual enrollment is very much a doable option and something that many of our students are currently doing. So it's a very popular option as well. And also the good news is that, you know, many of our courses actually kind of start off as if you don't have very much knowledge on the subject at hand. So many of them, especially the history ones, the social sciences, you know, you could start that one off as a course before even having any high school level background in it. And you would be, you know, all set to go. With the mathematics and the science courses like biology, college algebra, college math, those are going to be really important for you to have completed at the high school level first. So just something to keep in mind. But yes, dual enrollment is an option, and we love working with parents and students to really accommodate for that. So great question. Thank you. Okay, I think that is all the questions for now. So maybe we'll wait another minute or so to see if any more come in, but if not, very happy that you all made it here today. It's very wonderful speaking with you, and happy to be here.
And also, as well as our people are just kind of thinking if they want to ask another question, I'll go ahead and just launch our poll, the end of the event poll, if people just want to fill that out before we end here. So give people a couple minutes to fill that out as well.
Andrew, do you have contact information for our guests today that they might be able, if they had any follow-up questions, to reach out to you to ask those questions?
Yes, certainly. So Emily, do you have a way to put it up on the screen, to put up my email address on the screen like you did earlier? If not, I can just say it. That's totally fine. So
I can put it in the chat there.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. So my email address will just be aschrader@collegeforalusa.com. And for any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be very happy to answer anything that you may wonder. So yes.
And if you have questions about the university as well, you can ask Andrew questions as well. We speak frequently, and he's incredibly well versed on our programs, having gone through it himself, and the close working relationship we've had over the past few years.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, any last people filling out this poll, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'll share results with everyone. Thank you everyone for filling that out. But again, just want to say thank you so much to Andrew, Schrader, and Tom Phillips for being part of this event today. We're so happy to have you on talking about college for all and Thomas Edison and how people can get their degree more affordably and what's more innovative, and just really appreciate everyone being a part of this event today. And so we're so excited and thankful for people for all their amazing questions, and just really appreciate everyone being part of this today. So thank you again, and we look forward to keeping in touch with you all.